Hello and welcome again to airgunweb.com. My name is Rick Utzler and I'm glad you can join us again. Today we're going to take a look at a couple different rifles. I'm going to start with the Beaman RS3 dual caliber rifle. Now this is on the upper end of Beaman's scale, at least for their Chinese imports. And I expected a lot from this rifle. Unfortunately, it did not deliver. The performance was so poor that I actually stopped the review mid-testing. Come to find out, I believe that there's something wrong with this rifle. After all the shooting that I did, and I shot probably 500 to 1,000 rounds per caliber, I just could not get this rifle to group. When I put it on the chronograph, I realized why. The velocity spread on both barrels was well over 150 feet per second, and that is just completely unacceptable. This rifle is never going to group. Now, I believe it's something wrong with this particular gun because I've actually had this rifle before. I bought it personally, and I wound up giving it to a friend of mine. Now, that particular gun did very well for me. That's why I was so excited about doing this review, because I believe it does fit a need for some people. This particular one, however, had lots of problems, and I'm hoping that we'll be able to take another look at one down the road. But for now, this one's going back. The second rifle I'd like to talk to you about today is the BAM B25. Now, as far as Chinese imports go, Xisico and BAM are definitely one of my favorite manufacturers. They tend to copy exceptionally good guns. For example, the B26 is a copy of the R9. The B28 is a copy of the RWS 350 Magnum. The B40 is a copy of the FIREARMS. You get the idea. They copy some very, very high quality guns, and they actually do a pretty good job. In my reviewing of the Ruger Airhawk, I noticed that whoever had made it for Ruger had done an exceptional job. Come to find out, it's the guys over at BAM and Xisico. This particular model is the BAM B25, and it's basically the Ruger Airhawk with one exception. This one comes in .22 caliber. Let's take a good close-up look at this rifle. The BAM B25 is basically a copy of the RWS Model 34. The stock comes in a glossy finish that really doesn't do it for me. I much prefer a matte finish to this high gloss look. The rifle keeps things simple and works equally well for right and left-handed shooters. The metalwork is what you'd expect to see from a middle to high-end Chinese import. I've been a fan of BAM products from way back, and this rifle continues that trend. The rifle feels solid, and I'm pleased that they've done a decent job with quality control. The rifle ships with a decent set of fiber optic open sights, an automatic safety, and a two-stage trigger, which is a copy of RWS's T05 trigger. This combo model came with a Rex 3-9x40 AO scope, which provided a clear sight picture, but no mil dots or even a duplex reticle to help with range estimation. This particular scope will really limit the casual shooter. Maybe they can work to bundle a mil dot scope in the future. What made this particular B25 special is that it arrived having been tuned and lubed from Mike Melick. There was a significant difference in how this gun shot out of the box compared to my brand new RWS rifles. The extra trigger work that Mike performed is a significant improvement to this rifle. I'm seriously considering having him do the same work on my 350 and my 34P. It really makes a big difference. As you can see, the B25 very closely resembles the RWS Model 34. And for good reason. It's a copy of the RWS Model 34. There's a few things about this rifle that are different. Now, I got this from Mike Melick from www.bestairgun.com. It came with a scope and the mount for $180. Now, Mike will actually go through every gun before it goes out the door, but for a few extra dollars you can actually get him to do a full-scale tune of your gun and also install that special screw that you saw on the trigger that really makes this T05 trigger, or at least the copy of the T05 trigger, perform very, very well. As far as I'm concerned, it's well worth the extra money and the couple days it takes Mike to do the work. When you get the rifle that has been fully tuned and prepped by Mike, you're going to have something that shoots exceptionally well right out of the carton. The gun is very, very smooth. You're not going to need to be concerned about breaking it in or spending a lot of time on the bench getting it to settle down. It's going to shoot well from the day you get it. Now, our rifle performed pretty well, and we'll go over the velocities right now. We shot the RWS Hobbies to get a baseline. They're 11.9 grain. We had a high of 739, a low of 730, an average of 733 feet per second. That gave us an extreme spread of only 9 feet per second with a standard deviation of 3 feet per second. All of that translates down to 14.2 foot-pounds. Now, the best pellet for this rifle turned out to be the Crosman Premier Hollow Point. We shot those at a high of 702, a low of 672, an average of 690. The extreme spread was 30 feet per second and was a little bit higher than I would have liked it to be. And the standard deviation was 9 feet per second. That gave us 15.12 foot-pounds. When it comes to accuracy, the B25 did reasonably well. Let's go ahead and take a look at these groups. So what's my final take on the BAM B25 from Mike Melick? Well, as an RWS Model 34 copy, it does a great job. It's relatively quiet, registering only 97 dB on our audio tests. It's got decent accuracy, it's got good power, and it's a lot of fun to shoot. All the work that Mike puts into this before it goes out the door makes sure that you get a working gun when it shows up. Nothing can be more frustrating than ordering something, getting all excited, having it come in, and it shoot like crap. We just went through that with that Beaman, and if somebody had put the time in over at the Beaman factory before letting it out the door, I wouldn't have spent 20 or 30 hours trying to get a gun to shoot straight that just wasn't. You really avoid all of that headache when you get something that's custom tuned. It's going to cost a little bit extra to have Mike do the full tune on it and put that second screw in the trigger. But as far as I'm concerned, it's well worth it. And you're going to be very happy with what you get. My name is Rick Utzer with AirgunWeb.com. Until next time.